This game probably should have died by now. Smite has experienced a lot of failures, and so has Hi-Rez as a company. But there are so many games that have experienced similar failures that have completely killed their game, or in some cases their entire company. But Smite hasn't died yet. I've seen people say that Smite was dead since the day I started playing. And I started playing this game 10 years ago. There were even times when I thought that the game was over. This game has been through mass layoffs, mismanagement, canceled esports initiatives, low Twitch viewerships, barely visible marketing. The only press the game gets half the time is bad press. But Smite is resilient. After the world is destroyed from either climate change or global war, the only thing that'll survive will be cockroaches and Smite. My question is, how? How does this game stay alive? Why do people keep playing? How are the servers still running? How have they been able to get through all of these hardships and still stay afloat? Well, that's the exact question that I'm going to attempt to answer in this video. Like I said, I've been playing Smite for 10 years now, and why do I keep playing it? A big reason is familiarity. The gameplay of Smite has always been so fun, and I've been playing it for so long, I could stop playing for months and come back and immediately lock back into the gameplay. The items might be different, the meta may have changed, but it's still familiar and fun gameplay. I can't stress how fun the gameplay of Smite is. When I'm streaming, my main game is Smite because I can almost turn my brain off, allowing me to interact with chat and still do well in game because I know the game so well. And when I'm playing other games, I don't do the best because my focus is so split between trying to pay attention to the game I'm playing and stream at the same time, which is a lot harder than I thought it would be because I'm usually streaming Smite. Another reason why I think that Smite can't die is because Smite is different. On paper, sure, it's just a MOBA, but in third person, but other games have tried to recreate that niche, and almost all of them have failed. Deadlock is very close to the niche, and it's definitely not failing anytime soon, but in my opinion, Deadlock is different enough. I think it's carving out its own niche in the third-person MOBA space. I don't view it as a competitor to Smite 2. It's a shooter MOBA hybrid, and it has a different gameplay feel. I do think that there are fans of the third-person MOBA genre who will and do enjoy both, but I think that they're different enough to both occupy their own space without threatening each other. I don't think anyone has been successful at replicating or improving on Smite's formula, and this formula is one that resonates with a lot of people. Another thing that Smite really has going for it is its familiar characters. Everyone is familiar with at least some of the gods in the game. Greek mythology is very popular, and people usually know a few gods from the other pantheons as well. New players will start up the game already being familiar with the characters. This was me. When I first started the game, I saw Aphrodite, immediately locked in. And then I saw a lot of other familiar gods like Apollo, Athena, and I thought, this is exciting. I get to play gods from mythology that I already know about. And I think that familiarity is something that works so well as a draw for new players.
Literally giving me life.
And speaking of drawing in new players, this game has always been top tier when it comes to cosmetics. The skins are amazing. I started playing Smite because of Diva Aphrodite. I'm a huge Gaga stan, and I downloaded this game on my potato laptop when I was in college, just for the Diva Aphrodite skin. Skins have proven to be a successful way of getting people into the game. IP collabs like Avatar, Ruby, and Stranger Things were huge successes for the game. I know this works, especially for people like me, because I bought the Lady Gaga skin in Fortnite. And I don't even play Fortnite. Collabs are huge because they introduce the game to people who might not have ever come across this game. One of the biggest reasons that Smite probably hasn't died yet is because of the social circles. Streaming Smite since 2020, I've built a small but pretty great community of people on Discord and Twitter and Twitch, people who I interact with almost daily. Even in real life, a lot of my friendships in college were centered around us playing Smite together after school. Even though the Smite community is smaller than a lot of other gaming communities, I think that's something that it kind of has going for it. Yeah, the Smite community is small, but it's also pretty loyal. Gaming together is such a fun way to bond with people. A lot of my best childhood memories with friends were us sitting around gaming on games like SmackDown vs. Raw, or Guitar Hero, or Mortal Kombat. Video games can serve as a catalyst for a lot of friendships. And for many people, Smite was that catalyst. I'm all out of money! The game being free to play on console is also a huge win. Everybody makes the joke that PS5 has no games, and with video game companies continuing to raise the prices of their games higher and higher, free-to-play games are going to keep getting more popular. Smite's presence on console has made it a pretty solid free-to-play staple for a lot of people for a lot of years. There was a time when Smite was one of the only free-to-play PvP games on console. Now there's more competition, like Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, even I think Valorant is on console. But Hi-Rez was a pretty early adopter into that space, and a huge portion of players were able to experience the game and stuck with it for years. And I truly believe that once people get into Smite, it's really hard to stop. Because like I said, the gameplay is really good. I love the mechanics. And since console has such a high player base, it's easy to look at things like Steam charts or Twitch viewership and think, wow, those are really low numbers for a live service PvP game. But when you account for the fact that a big portion of Smite's player base is on console, the fact that Smite is still alive gets a little less confusing. A lot of those players are in the background. Hi-Rez has failed a lot. They've had so many games that were genuinely well designed that just die. But Smite never does. Smite is their bread and butter. It's their reliable workhorse. It's the only thing that's keeping their company alive, and they're going to do whatever they can to keep it going. And that's a good thing. We have this culture in America. I guess you could define it as just capitalism in general. But a lot of American corporate culture is about pleasing the shareholders and increasing shareholder value. So a lot of corporations, a lot of companies are forced to think in the short term to reach quarterly goals instead of planning for the long term. And that has been a detriment to the consumer and the worker. I'll try not to rant too much about capitalism, but my point is that Hi-Rez will fail over and over again, but they keep trying. And that's rare in most industries, but especially the gaming industry. People want immediate return on investments, and they don't want to invest in the future. And at least to me, it does feel like Smite's developers want to invest in the future. They want to invest in the future of their game. And I believe that this is a philosophy that should be adopted across almost every industry if we want to plan for a better future. And I think we all know that when developers are given the time to cook with their games, we get amazing products that we just don't usually get anymore because everybody wants to push out slop and make money. And there's a lot of negative things you can say about Hi-Rez as a company. I know I've said my fair share of negative things about Hi-Rez as a company. I think that it's your rite of passage as a Smite fan, and probably especially as a Paladins fan, to have negative things to say about Hi-Rez. But I applaud them for the fact that they, at least when it comes to Smite, it feels like they're finally giving the developers room to make the game as great as it can be. They know that the fans are passionate, and they know that the devs are also so passionate. Even though they have screwed over their development team time and time again, the development team still remains passionate because the game is fun. The game is fun to play, the community is great, and there's so much love for this game. Smite is also one of the only games that Hi-Rez has had where they weren't trying to chase trends like Rogue Company or Realm Royale. Smite carved out its own niche, and that's why it persists. Smite isn't the most popular game, but that's also why they've been able to stick around. Nobody's been able to successfully recreate or improve the core Smite gameplay. The core player base is too large to give up. Smite will never die the same way that these other games die because it was never alive in the same way that these other games were. Live service success doesn't have to look like industry dominance or virality. It can look like persistence, and that's one thing that Smite has always had going for it, persistence. And as much as I disagree with a lot of Hi-Rez's business decisions, I believe that this is a lesson more video game companies, and companies in general, should learn. Long-term sustainability will always be better than short-term profit. But what do you guys think? Please feel free to leave a comment down below and tell me why you think Smite hasn't died yet, even though it feels like it probably should have. Or if you think that it's gonna die soon, let me know why you think that. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Rose Pop, and feel free to give a like and subscribe if you want more inconsistent content about your favorite video games. Bye!